Thought I'd take it just to see what it was all about. Wasn't sure that I wanted to do this full time, but I wanted to at least take the test to see what it was all about. So I took the test, did pretty well on that. Ended up doing the physical, again, did okay on that. Here I am. So when they called me and said I had the job, I had no idea how to handle it. Didn't know what to do. Here I was coming into a profession that I knew about, but I didn't really live it in Shreve. So this was just going from quote on Shreve to the big leagues. So very first day that I was working here, I was all worried because I didn't want to come off as a girly girl, because I'm not. But I didn't want to come in as a real harsh person either. I wanted to be nice, but I didn't want to be too nice, and I didn't want to walk them over. So I actually, the night before, went through, laid everything out, and even got so petty as to throwing away all of my little pink elastic rubber bands, because I didn't want them to think I was too girly for having a pink rubber band in my hair. Didn't wear any makeup or anything, didn't want any reason for somebody to look at me as, too much of a feminine figure. Came in probably an hour early before I even needed to get dressed. Got all in uniform, and we had clip-on ties then. Never had to wear a tie before. Didn't know where the tie tack went. How far up did it go? And I had no idea. So I'm trying to put this tie tack on. Managed to puncture my thumb, right in the middle, trying to get this thing through the tie, bleeding everywhere. Complete moron. Had no idea exactly where everything needed to go on my belt. So I threw it all on, thinking, okay, screw this up, I'll live, it'll be fine. And most of the guys that I work with here, there are a couple guys, I can take them or leave. But it's like any job. You're going to have your friends, and you're going to have the guys that, okay. But everybody accepts people here, because when crap hits the fan, it doesn't matter. As long as you're stepping in, that's all they care about. The first year I was here was it was hard. Just trying to find the right balance between being a good person and trying to help out without being too eager. Again, that fine balance between trying to hold my own, but yet not being too harsh. A lot of guys say I earn their respect when I show up at a fight call without waiting for backup. I go in and handle a domestic instead of waiting for somebody else to show up. But it's just doing what you're taught to do. There are things that I hate about it. There are things I don't enjoy. I don't like dead bodies. Absolutely can't stand them. It creeps me out. I also don't like shooting deer when they get hit on the road. But I'll do it. But if I'm working with somebody that likes to do that, hey, just come over here and shoot deer, and I'll go handle this stupid theft call that you don't want to do, or I'll interview your witness or victim or something. I have a lot more patience than a lot of the men I work with, and don't mind working cases a little longer than maybe they would. This job has been very trying on my personal life. When I first was hired, I was married to a guy named Jason, and at first it was cool that his wife's a cop. Something nice to talk about, and he was kind of proud of it. But then it got to the point where I was making more than he was. That was a little weird. I would get called into work, so I wasn't spending time with him. I actually had court on my days off. Well, why are you going into court? It's your day off. You should be doing something here. He didn't adapt very well at all to these changes. We had a son, obviously, since I was from the academy. He did not like it when I was on night shift. So my husband actually made up a schedule for me. Because he had to take over the responsibilities of being a parent when I was at work, he thought that on his days off, if he gave me a schedule of the TV shows that he wanted to watch, then that should be his time, and I would have all parental responsibilities at that time because I owed it to him to allow him to watch these TV shows. Yes. Yes. He did not adjust very well. And we all have jobs where, you know, you go home and you talk about what you did. And if you talk about, hey, I was talking to Joe the other day and blah, 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 or I was talking to Matt this morning. Why are you talking to Matt? Gee, I work with all men. I'm going to talk to my coworkers. Well, I just don't understand why you're talking that much. So go down with myself. He did not handle the jealousy very well at all. He did not like the fact that I tried to maybe take over more responsibility than he was willing to give me. But it's the job. We're used to taking control. We're used to taking a problem and fixing it. And when I was taking problems that he thought he should fix, that became an issue. I was here for about a year and a half before we finally split up, and that was great. That was probably the best thing. But the jealousy of my male coworkers was horrible. When I literally, there was nothing ever around for any kind of jealousy to even begin. He also was not very happy with my parenting, apparently, that changed. Became very overprotective to the point where if I couldn't reach my babysitter by a phone call, then I was calling maybe my parent that worked down the street to check on my kid. Very hyper-vigilant in the way I did things. But my kids are well adapted now, and they're great kids. But relationships are very hard to maintain. I've lost several friendships because I kind of don't have the time for a lot of petty nonsense that goes into some friendships. A lot of women like to hear themselves talk. They like to talk about everything minor. And in this line of work, you don't have the time or patience for it. I want to hear what you have to say and figure it out and move on. I don't want to sit there and talk for 20 minutes about Bachelor. I don't even watch it. So my personality did shift, it did change when I became a law enforcement officer, and my friendships, some of them survived it, some of them didn't. I actually had one of my friends tell me that she couldn't remain my friend because I was too self-centered, because I was taking on a job that could remove me from my children's life. So therefore, I was too self-centered in doing that. In her mind, I should have just done something that was completely safe, with no risk whatsoever involved, be home every day at 5 and cook dinner and continue on my life that way. So people that you thought were your lifelong friends, suddenly you're not. So after my divorce, started dating. And that was a little awkward. I carried a weapon on my first couple of dates, which some didn't like. The simple fact of when I go into a restaurant, I like to sit where I can face the door because I want to see who's coming in.
Never heard that before, have you?
Just weird traits like that were a little hard for other people to accept. When I did start dating, they weren't allowed to meet my son at all. No way. Like, didn't exist. Until I was sure that this was somebody that I wanted in my life, no way. Not having any contact with my son. Then, I have a weird knack for this, I ended up pregnant. So, working in law enforcement. And trying to wear a gun belt. trying to wear a vest, trying to keep up with everyone when you're pregnant. It's not a lot of fun. I ended up, I would come to work with one of those large tubs of, empty tub, but the Cool Whip bowls that are bigger size, and I had a couple of Ziploc bags and each Ziploc bag had a wet washcloth in it, because I was puking several times a night. So I would take the Ziploc bags out, have my my Cool Whip bowl with me, sitting in the passenger seat on my gear, and whenever I felt like I was going to be sick, if I couldn't get out of the car, throw it up in the Cool Whip bowl, and I could use the mouthwash or the rag then to wipe my mouth. I had mouthwash in the car with me. Who thinks of that stuff? Exactly. So that was a very fun time. Everybody wasn't too sure how to treat me then, and I had backup like crazy on every call that I went on, it seemed. But it really showed me that these guys care. These guys want to make sure that I'm safe. They want to make sure that I am taken care of, and it all worked out. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what that was.
Rats on the ceiling, don't worry about it.
We're going to get a new building.
I have no idea.
She looking at you?
I think she's looking at you, Mike. That's not up to me.
Not looking at me.
All right, so let's see. So through the pregnancy. Okay. So as a mom, finding a babysitter is a challenge, period. Finding a babysitter that basically is going to be on call whenever you need to drop everything and come into work, pretty much non-existent. Depending on all your friends to help you out with babysitting and schedule issues, huge problem. That's probably my biggest complaint with our schedule, is just trying to find somebody that's willing to, A, who's going to come to my house at 5:30 in the morning, watch my kids. B, who wants to stay there till 6 at night when I get off? Not many people are raising their hands for that one. So finding childcare has been always an issue. There's a lot of things that I've missed out on as a mom. When my daughter first said her first words, she was really babysitter. First walked, yep, I was here at work. Birthdays, I've managed to be off for most of their birthdays. You miss a lot of school things. You miss a lot of holidays with the kids. A lot of things that you can't take back. You can't make them. But with the way our schedule is, there's a lot of times I do have them. So there is time to build a lot of memories and have a lot of fun. Like Matt said, there are a few men here that are a little...
They're old school.
knuckle draggers.
All right.
Because in all honesty, okay, women are not as strong as men. No matter which way you slice it. I can't fight biology. I can't fight the way I was made. Probably never going to be able to bench press as much as some of these guys, no matter what. Are there other things I bring to the table? Yes. But if you're looking at it as far as just strength, I'm not even going to try to fight it. I can't. I might be able to do more sit-ups than somebody else. I might be able to run a little faster than somebody else. But if you go on the old mentality of we're going into a bar and I'm going to pick you up and chuck you out the door, I'll catch you. I can't cope with that. Can't handle that. Like I said, I have a lot more patience than a lot of the men that I work with. A lot more compassion. I'm able to talk people out of things rather than just challenge them and deal with the aftermath of whatever they do decide to do. No. Different things that women can bring that men just don't seem to want to have. Patience, compassion, and two main things. Anybody have any